Hey everyone! Welcome to Coffee and Conversation for ESL Listening. I'm Danielle.
And I'm Christina. So grab a cup and join the conversation.
Hey Christina, how are you today?
Good. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. It's a little bit early for me, having some coffee and waking up, so it's good.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm same here. I've got my favorite mug
I like it
full of
too.
coffee. Thanks. Yeah, it was
Nice
a
mug.
Christmas gift from my husband.
My favorite colors, green and blue.
Oh yes. Yes.
Okay, today we have a little bit of a different topic. We thought it's coming up on April 1st, very soon. And for those of you who don't know, April 1st is kind of I don't want to say it's a big holiday because it's not. It's sort of a special day. It's a special day that I think is pretty much only done or mostly done in the United States. I don't know about other countries. I could really be wrong on this. And in fact, Christina has done a little research on this holiday, so she may be able to teach me something because I really don't know. I don't know anything about this holiday. But what this is all about pranks and practical jokes. And if you don't know what a prank or a practical joke is, it might be a good idea to kind of explain that a little bit. So let's see. So a prank is doing something to fool somebody, make them think something, and then say, aha, I got you. That's not true. Or just to do something kind of silly to make them laugh or to surprise them. It's actually a wide range of things that you could do as a prank, and we'll give some examples of that in a little minute here. But
Right. And pranks and jokes is something that usually, people do every day, but especially on April Fool's Day, it's
yes,
known to, do some pranks and jokes on people.
yeah, it's a lot of fun if you do it the right way. There are definitely some, say, practical jokes or pranks that maybe aren't so nice, but we are going to focus here on the fun ones, the nice ones, the friendly ones, right?
Right.
So on April 1st is the day that we do a lot of these pranks, but of course, like Christina said, we do them all the time, all throughout the year. Depending on personality, some people like this kind of thing, and we just like to have fun. There are some television shows that specialize in pranks. One of my favorite shows of all time is Impractical Jokers. I talk about it all the time.
Yes, you do.
I do, right? Yeah. And it's these guys, they go around and they do silly things on people in the street, or maybe they will have what they call a focus group. They'll get three people in a room and they'll pretend that they're, say, inventing a new product. And they want to get these people's opinion on it. And then they come up with something ridiculous. And these people are looking at it like it's supposed to be something serious. Yeah. So the other day I saw one, actually it was yesterday. I
Mhm.
saw one where they were trying to introduce a new computer piece of equipment.
Oh
And
God.
he pulls out of this box this modem from like 1992. And he had to try to convince them that it is just the top of the line, cutting edge technology. And these three unsuspecting people, sometimes we call those people that you're playing the joke on, we call them the marks. And these marks really thought it was something serious. So they were trying to give honest, helpful feedback. And it was hilarious because when you see this thing, you're like, oh my gosh, this is so old.
Oh God.
So yeah, so there's things like that. If anybody watches The Office, have you ever
Oh
watched The Office?
yes, I didn't watch the whole show, but several episodes. So and I think it's such a popular show that a lot of people know what
Yeah.
you're talking about.
You know, I have a tendency to watch things way after they've ended, so I finally went through the series during COVID quarantine days, like everybody else did, it seems like.
Right.
It's an okay show. I don't love it, but there are
Mhm.
some funny things in there. And one character is particularly known for playing pranks and practical jokes. And one thing he did was he put his coworker's stapler in a big thing of Jell-O.
Oh,
and and the guy had to like dig through all this Jell-O to pull out his stapler. So those are some practical joke examples.
You just reminded me a practical joke my coworkers and I did for our boss one day.
Ooh.
She was on vacation, so she was gone for a week or so. And what we did, we knew that she she has this thing about Nicolas Cage. It's not necessarily that she likes him.
I get it.
So we printed out tons of pictures of Nicolas Cage and like framed them and put them everywhere in her office. And then one of my coworkers just went an extra mile there. And she made these tiny little pictures of Nicolas Cage and covered every key with those pictures on her keyboard.
No! I love it.
It was amazing. So
that is.
Sometimes we do stuff like that in the office. So
I love those kinds of practical jokes.
Yeah, like speaking about office, one time I was off for a couple of days and I came to work and my computer screen was covered in Post-it notes. The whole thing.
I love it. Well, so that brings me to what I was going to tell you. Unfortunately, I did not do this practical joke, but I had it planned for you when we were working together. And I can't remember the reason why I didn't do it. I feel like it happened to be during a time that you were really busy with a project. Mm-hmm. And I thought it would be funny, but it really wouldn't be great to do because it would interfere with your work day. And I didn't want to do that. So I think that's the reason I didn't do it. So a little background. Christina has a thing about bubble wrap.
Yes, I do.
Right? When you're stressed.
It's my stress relief. Popping bubbles for those bubble wrap is my stress relief.
Right. And we all knew that. And so we kind of would make jokes about her and the bubble wrap. So I said, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to get into her office early one morning and I'm going to cover her entire office with bubble wrap. Her chair, her computer, put it on the wall, maybe frame a picture of bubble wrap. I mean, I was going to go all out. I had all these great ideas. And I'm so sad that I didn't get to execute it.
Oh, man. That would have been hilarious, actually.
Right?
The funny thing about bubble wrap that people know so much that I use bubble wrap for stress relief that every so often I'll come to work and I have a little clip on by the door that people like leave messages or something. That ever so often when I come to work, there is a piece of bubble wrap left in there for me.
That's funny.
Which sometimes I don't know. I mean, is it just because they had some bubble wrap left over and they gave it to me when they got some sort of a shipment? But sometimes I feel like maybe they just know that I have a stressful time coming up, or maybe they're going to be a reason why that stressful time coming up. So they're already giving me bubble wrap ahead of time.
I was going to say, it's a little warning. Okay, just prepare yourself for this very stressful thing.
Oh, crazy. That's but funny. Yeah, I wish you did that. I wish you had,
Yeah.
That would be really cool.
Believe me, I was really having so much fun planning it. And, I think it was the year that I left, and of course, so I didn't get a chance to do it that year. And then that was my last chance. So yeah, that's a bummer.
Well, that just gives you a reason to come and visit sometime.
Yeah, definitely. I'll be there in July, hopefully. Probably not with bubble wrap, but
we have plenty of places you can buy it here.
Okay. All right. So yeah. So you've already seen a couple ideas of, kind of practical jokes that people do. So I'll just kind of give a little list of more ideas of things.
Yeah.
They kind of are in different categories. Some things are just silly, like the bubble wrap. Um, some people will do something like, you know, those little googly eyes that got stickers on them and they move around. You know those? Oh, you're looking like yeah. And so sometimes they'll put them on the food in the refrigerator or on someone's lunch bag, put them on the sandwich or the apple. You look like you want to tell me what happened. What did you do?
I just watched a video this morning of
Oh,
these people going and putting googly eyes on pretty much anywhere. Like they would put it on any signs that had like a person or an animal on it. They
oh,
even
that's
would put it on a bus. You know how sometimes buses have advertisement on them?
yeah.
And they would go and stick those googly eyes on like a dog that's some sort of a commercial on a bus. Or like you said, they would go to grocery store and put it on like eggplant or banana. Like random. They would stick them anywhere. It is so funny.
That is
I
funny.
literally this is hilarious because I just watched this video this morning about people just randomly putting googly eyes everywhere.
That is really funny. And it's the I think what makes that so funny is the simplicity of it and the
Yeah.
absurdity. You know, like
Yes.
it, who even thinks of that? Somebody did, but it was hilarious.
But how many people, things like that? I mean, it's a joke, it's a practical joke, but how many people actually would go in the grocery store and they see this, eggplant with the googly eyes, and how many people will laugh or smile at least?
I was just gonna say it'll bring a smile to your face. You can't look at it and be like, "Ugh." You're gonna
Yeah.
laugh. You're gonna think, "Oh, that's cute," and it'll bring a smile to your face. I think we need more of that these days.
Yes, I agree. We do. And we do.
Okay, so then
So, what are
there's
some other practical
oh,
jokes or pranks that people do?
so another one is, I guess, in the category I would say of like annoying. Do something to kind of like the stapler and the Jello. I mean, that's annoying because you got to dig that thing out of there and clean off your stapler, and it's a mess. Things like that. Um, Another one is like confusing someone, making them think, "Wait, what's going on?"
Hmm.
And that could be something like sticking a post-it note on their back that has a funny message, or putting a sign on your car that says honk and wave. And so cars are passing by and waving and honking, and you're like, what's going on? Right.
Right.
Yeah. Those are good ones too. Another one is just to fool someone, to make them think something is true, and then to find out, ha ha ha, we just made a joke, right? So, for example, if you're at your workplace, somebody might leave a message that they have taken for you while you're at lunch, from someone by the name of Mr. Bear, Bayer. And you say, oh, okay, well, let me call this back. And you call the number, and it's the local zoo,
Oh gosh.
bear, like the homophone bear and bear. So that's one. Those are my favorite kinds, I think. The rest of these I don't like, um, because they're just not fun. They just sort of seem mean.
Mhm.
There's scary ones where people will hide somewhere and then jump out and scare you. To me,
Yeah.
that's not funny. That's just, I don't know. Or fake bugs or snakes, or, oh my gosh, no, thank you.
Oh,
That's not fun at all.
yeah. Yeah, I've seen people do that, and
Yeah. No, I don't want that.
no,
That is,
no,
what's the fun of that?
not one of those pranks that, or practical jokes that would smile on your face.
No, yeah, that's the thing. I want to put a smile on my face, right? I don't want to
Right.
be scared or freaked out or whatever,
Right.
or grossed out, as
Hmm.
comes with this next one. Things like taking the cream out of donuts and replacing it with mayonnaise.
Oh,
Come on, man. Just
that's
don't.
gross.
Just don't do
Or
that.
ketchup, like jelly donut. People
Oh,
put
that's even
ketchup there
worse.
instead.
Oh no. Oof. I don't know. I hate mayonnaise and I hate ketchup, so I don't know what's worse.
But you like donuts.
Yes, and that's why, how are you going to ruin a donut with mayonnaise? Oh my gosh. That's just wrong.
Yeah, I agree. Those are annoying and gross, and like, why would you do that? But
Yeah. Then we have things that are like dangerous, which I don't like, putting someone in a position where they might fall or trip and they could potentially hurt themselves. Don't
Mm-hmm.
like that at all. And then I put this in the category of mean.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
And this is like sometimes they have these fake lottery tickets that
Mm-hmm.
you give to someone and they get all excited thinking they won like $10,000. And then you're like, ha ha ha, you didn't win. What? That's not funny. That's just mean, I think.
It is. It is mean.
Yeah.
I don't know why people think that that kind of stuff is funny.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess everyone has a different sense of humor, but for me, those don't work.
Right. I agree. Agree.
So, um, yeah. So we've talked about our experiences with practical jokes that, someone did for you. Um, have you played a practical joke on anyone?
Um,
Even if it
yeah,
wasn't really
pretty much every
elaborate?
day.
Every day
Is what I
when I
do.
show up for work.
Practical joke. I'm here. So I do this one thing, like a practical joke for my husband quite often. And I am surprised that he hasn't learned
Oh my gosh.
that this
Well,
could
yeah.
happen. So when we go somewhere in a car and he's driving, if I get into the car before him, I will move his chair all the way up to the a steering wheel. And his chair is usually way far from the steering wheel because he's got long legs. And so he
Yeah.
has to sit farther away, right? So I'll put it all the way up, but to the point that you can't necessarily notice that it's close.
Ah,
So he
you just
won't
know
notice.
something's off.
Yes. So he won't notice. He will just try to get in and then he gets all squished. So I don't know why he hasn't realized that he has to look before he gets in the car. No. But it makes me laugh.
Right.
And especially makes our 8-year-old boy laugh in the
Oh,
back
I'm
there.
sure it does. Yeah, that kid has a good sense of humor.
He does.
I can see him
So,
being a prankster, a practical joker.
that's what I'm afraid that
Yeah.
because
Watch out.
yes, I should be watching out because they say karma
Yeah.
comes
Right.
back. Or at least he's learning because he sees me doing these things.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. Just wait. Yeah.
what about you? I know
Well,
you have some good ideas for practical
you
jokes
know,
there.
I'm trying to think. I don't really think I do it that often. I don't really do them for April Fool's Day specifically. But I do remember one thing, and I guess I would put this in the category of a practical joke. It's sort of like a surprise slash prank. I don't know. So, a good friend of mine was going to have a milestone birthday one year. And her sister and we wanted to plan something really nice for her.
Mhm.
And the place that she loves more than anything in the world is New Orleans. Just like me, I love New Orleans as well. So we thought, well, we just need to take her to New Orleans. Of course, that will be the best thing. But we didn't want to make it so obvious. Oh, hey, we're going to New Orleans. Yay, happy birthday. So we
Right.
thought, how can we make this a surprise, make it a bit of a joke? So I came up with this elaborate idea, this story that my husband, through his work, somehow got these tickets for a spa. And just to make it a little bit, a little extra, we picked it. It had to be in a city
Mhm.
in a part of the country that she doesn't really love so much. I mean, I'm not going to say where this is because there's absolutely nothing wrong with this place, but for whatever reason, she does
Sure.
not love this area. So, of course, this spa trip had to be in this particular area. So, I printed out, lists and the menu items from this spa. I, got all this stuff about this hotel, quote unquote, that we were going to stay in. We planned out our weekend, where we were going to go, what we were going to do, the different excursions or whatever, and it was all, so she was convinced we were going there. So we show up at the airport, and even then, I shoved the a boarding pass in her hand right as we got to the security gate. So she didn't even see it. And we got through, and she didn't know until we walked up to the gate because, of course, it said New Orleans on there. So
Right.
she just was completely surprised, and we just all had a good laugh.
So this was a really nice practical joke, it
Yes,
was
that's what I said. It's a
pleasantly.
surprise.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, that is really cool. But was it hard for you to keep it all a secret and kind of keep a straight face going through all of this?
Not for me. And it's funny because I'm a really terrible liar. I mean, in general, I'm terrible at lying. But if it's for a cause like this, oh yeah, I can lay it on thick.
Oh, that's a good. You know what? I
Yeah, I
like that.
just realized.
Laying
Yeah,
on
lay it on
thick.
thick means
That's a good
like
one.
just really go all out and extra. Yeah.
Huh. Nice. Very nice.
Yeah. So that's the only thing I can think of.
What?
Well, okay. Oh, no. I do have one other thing that I did a long time ago. This is kind of mean though. I was a kid. I was a teenager. So, but I still remember it because it was funny. My sister had this boyfriend that would come to the house, and he would always go through the fridge, find out whatever snacks we had, and he would just start eating. And so it became a joke that he was like always eating our stuff, and that's all. He'd come in and just right away start eating. So I made this Chex Mix. It's a cereal, and you put pretzels in it and nuts and stuff like that. And this is really terrible. People don't do this. But I
What did
mixed
you
a
put?
little bit of cat food crunchies. And I said, "Hey, I made this for you." And he's like, "Oh, thank you." And so he grabbed it and he's eating it. And I have a picture that I took of him where he was walking around eating this Chex Mix.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Don't do that, people. That wasn't nice. But just in my defense, he's a comedian and he actually thought it was hilarious.
Oh, that's good. At least he didn't take offense. Because
No, he didn't.
the other side of practical jokes is that people that you do, you know, have a practical joke over, they become offended.
Yeah. So you want to be careful. Know your
Yes,
mark.
right. Exactly. That's a good word phrase there too. Know your mark with that. Um, so I've never tried like a cat food or dog food, so I don't really know what it tastes like.
I don't either.
Not even on the accident or anything.
I don't
But
want to know. Thank you.
my friend's son, he loves bacon. And I guess I don't know if he thought it was bacon or I don't know exactly what happened, but one day she said she came home and he ate some bagging strips, and
Oh,
those are dog treats. They
yeah,
kind of look like bacon, but they're just dog treats.
that's terrible.
So yeah, I don't. I mean, you have to be really desperate for bacon, right?
I guess so. I don't know.
But he's fine, right? So nothing, nothing happened to him. So I mean, you said that you kind of did some practical jokes on other people, but what about you?
Um, I'm. I can't think of any really. Nothing comes to mind about what someone did to me. I'm sure there's something, but I'm not thinking of it right now.
Okay.
Hmm. Well, anyway, so talking about the practical jokes and all of that, and how does that have anything to do with April Fool's Day? Well, all of those things are the kinds of things that you might do on April Fool's Day specifically. And we were talking about this topic and we realized we didn't know anything about the history of it. So I would love to hear what you found out.
Oh, so some of the things I was kind of reading about it because um, we had when growing up in Ukraine, April Fools wasn't as popular of a holiday or ordeal. So at first, the biggest thing we would do, like the teacher, and I think that's kind of like a classic April Fool's joke at school with little kids. The teacher would come in and say, "Okay, today you're taking a test." and it wasn't
Yeah.
planned, right? So everybody would be, oh no, and she's like, oh, April Fools, or stuff like that, just kind of innocent little things. But once I moved here to the United States, I noticed that like April Fools is kind of a big deal here. People actually do stuff, pranks
Yeah.
and jokes and all that. So I started looking into the origins, like what happened? When did this whole April Fool's Day started, and what does it have to do with the pranks and jokes and all that? So I saw what I read was that it actually dates back to 1582, the year of
Whoa.
1582. Yes,
Huh.
it wasn't necessarily called April Fool's Day at that time. But what happened during that time, during that year, um, I don't know if, I mean, people probably know that there's two calendars that different people celebrate holidays or whenever the new year starts or not. So there's Julian calendar and Gregorian calendar.
Right.
And I guess during that in 1500s, they were switching from one calendar to another. And I guess a new year went from April, it used to be in April,
Oh.
went to January. And this is what we kind of stuck, most of the world stuck with, celebrating New Year's in January. But apparently, not everybody got the message at that time that it was already switched.
Well, the internet, that didn't help.
I think it was pretty slow.
Yeah, I think so.
So in 1582, when they switched to January 1st, people who were still celebrating New Year's on April 1st, they kind of called them April Fools because they were not up to date on the new calendar. And that's not when the New Year's was. So I guess that's how it started.
Cool. I like it. That's
Another
interesting.
thing that they say that the April Fools was, it had to do something with the weather because you know how in April weather changes, but
Mm.
then it gets warmer, but then the rains come in, and sometimes it still can get chilly outside. So they
Yeah.
say that the weather, like the nature changing, and can fool you.
Ah, okay.
So the April Fools. There's also a historic kind of a mention of this event in ancient Roman. There was a holiday called, I think it was called Hilaria,
Oh.
and
Hmm.
yeah, they say that some sources say that this is when it originated, which would have been way before the calendar switch. Um, but I couldn't really find evidence of why it became so popular in the rest of the world, but they say that Britain and Scotland is where April Fool's Day became really popular and celebrated. It all
Oh,
started
okay.
in 18th century. They
Yeah.
have like it's like a 2 day celebration
Oh,
there. So
wow.
it's
They're really
yeah,
serious.
right. It seems like it. So it kind of picked up in the rest of the world. And of course, because so many people immigrated from Britain and Scotland and Ireland and, you know, that area, then it became really popular in the United States. But I think it was, sometime in 1950s, there was, so BBC, right, the broadcasting
Oh,
system,
yeah.
they played in, there was is a Swiss host, I think, of BBC. They had this whole April Fool's hoax when they talked about spaghetti crop. So
Yeah.
they even showed these pictures showing that spaghetti were growing on trees and people were harvesting spaghetti. Like
That's
they made it very
crazy.
realistic.
But I mean, as crazy as that sounds, there's stuff you see on the internet now that's crazier than that people believe. So I totally can see how that would happen.
Well, yeah, did you hear that people believe that chocolate milk comes from brown cows?
I know. I didn't want to believe that people believe that, but yes, I actually think that's a thing.
So yeah, I mean, it seems like there's again, there's nothing seem it doesn't look like there is just one origin of April Fool's joke. It seems
Yeah.
like in different parts of in different countries, or they have different origins of that. But it's just became so popular that the rest of the world started celebrating and just kind of doing
Yeah.
their own April Fool jokes and
That's
pranks.
cool. It's
Yeah.
funny because I never really hear from other countries so much, celebrating that specific day now as much as we do. I feel like whenever you hear something about it, it's more from here. So yeah, I didn't even know if anybody cared or knew about it necessarily. Cool.
Right.
So,
So
yeah, that's really interesting to hear about all those things. I guess it's funny because when something has such an ancient origin, it's so old that it is hard to really know exactly what the truth is, and probably it's a combination of things,
right, and how
very
it started
possibly.
really.
So, okay, is that all you have for the history?
Yeah.
Okay, that was super interesting. Thank you. I love that. So, the only thing I was going to talk about now is some of the practical jokes that I've seen on the internet. And if you go on YouTube, you can find tons of stuff like this. Some of them are, not funny, like we talked about before. I don't like the mean ones. Some of them are really funny and just very creative, you know. So I don't know if you have any in your mind that you have seen, but I'll tell you about a couple. One of my favorite things that I see people doing now, and it's kind of strange to me. Like, I don't even know why this is a thing, but it is. Um, Back in the 80s, there was this
Okay.
artist called Rick Astley. And I don't want to call him a one hit wonder because I think he had more than one hit song, but I can really only remember the one. And it was called Never Gonna Give You Up. It was popular for, a summer or something. I mean, it really wasn't. Hey, she's already bouncing to it. Yeah. It didn't really last that long, but somehow, like maybe 10, 15 years later, it became a very hilarious thing to do, to send somebody a link about something that they're really interested, that oh, wow, I got to read about this. And they
Mhm.
click on the link, and it's nothing but a video of this guy singing Never Gonna Give You Up. And the prank itself is called Rick rolling someone, because his name is Rick Astley. You Rick roll, it means you make somebody think that they're clicking on one link, and usually something like, oh, I really want to see this. And then it's that guy.
That is actually funny. That's actually
It's
a good
hilarious. And the
prank.
thing is that's so funny to me, kids in schools these days who weren't even thought of in their parents' minds when Rick Astley was singing the song in the day, they know all about it. They do this prank. They love this prank. It's really hilarious.
That is funny. That is a good
Yeah.
one.
So yeah, Rick rolling. Um, so my other favorite, and this is, a lot of times you'll hear about, coworkers playing pranks on each other, or kids playing pranks on, yeah, kids playing pranks on their teachers or their parents. But sometimes parents play tricks on their kids. And I don't know, sometimes that can be really funny too. And one of my favorites is when this father, his kid was at home, and I guess he fell asleep in the afternoon. The kid fell asleep on the couch in the afternoon for about an hour, and he
Mhm.
woke up kind of disoriented and didn't know, what day it was, what time it was, or whatever. And so the dad thought it would be hilarious to take advantage of that. And he told him that it was time to get up and go to school. And it was about 4 o'clock in the afternoon or 5 o'clock, something like that. Yeah. So he made his kid go and get changed. He gave him a lunchbox, drove him to
Oh my
school.
gosh. Poor kid.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little mean, but it's a little funny too.
Oh, that is hilarious. Oh my gosh,
Something to
can you
keep in
imagine that
mind,
kid?
if Elijah
Keep
takes
hitting me.
an unexpected nap.
The other thing I've seen on the internet that parents kind of play practical jokes on their kids is, and you might have seen it too, when the parents after school, when they meet their kids at the bus stop or the school bus stops,
Right.
and they dress up like those inflatable dinosaurs.
Oh, yeah, that's
Oh
funny.
my gosh. I think it's hilarious because you can see the kids get so embarrassed by, I mean, you're too cool for school.
It's
You
so
get off the
easy to
school bus.
embarrass them anyway, right? The kids are just horrified by their parents about anything. Once they get to a certain age, it's just like, oh, their mere existence is, oh, I'm so ashamed.
Especially when they're teenager, it's
Oh,
like drop me
teenagers, the
off 2
worst.
blocks before school so
Yeah.
nobody knows. But then you see these parents come up, dressed up as T-Rexes.
Oh,
Meet-
man.
Getting them off the bus. I always think it's pretty neat.
That's nice. I love it.
Like parenting goals right here.
Parenting goals, yeah. So, any other practical jokes that you like or pranks?
I mean, I feel like a lot of office stuff that happens like we do to each other is pretty funny too, because and it's a good humor jokes.
Yeah.
So it's never really mean or anything or annoyed each other, but it's kind of fun so we can laugh. I know that I've heard people before wrapped like the office in saran wrap.
Yeah. Or the
S-
doorway,
the
like, so
doorway,
you can't
yes,
see it and you walk
yes.
into yeah, I love that one too.
So that's pretty funny. So there was this one time my coworkers played practical joke on me. I had this little decoration on my door, and it was kind of like a little decorated frame. And every morning I would come to work, and I would have a different printed picture in there, and those were hilarious. I mean, this one time I came in, and it was a shirtless Eric Estrada.
Hey. Okay, for those of you who don't know, this guy was popular. He was what we call a heartthrob, meaning an actor or a celebrity that girls just were like, "Oh, he's so cute, he's so cute."
Right.
Back in the 1970s, that's
Right.
when he was
So
popular.
that was way before our time, and
Yeah,
then the next morning I came in and there was a picture of Han Solo from
of
Star Wars in there.
course.
One of the days I came in and there was a picture of Donald Trump with the crazy hair flying.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they just they got pretty creative with those pictures in there. But it was I thought it was such a cool joke because
Yeah,
every morning I walked up to my door and the first thing I did, I laughed.
yeah.
So
You
I
need
think
that sometimes.
yes, I think they actually help me to,
Yeah,
start my morning with the laughter.
exactly.
But
Definitely a good way to start your
um
morning.
right. So some of the things, there was a practical joke that my coworker and I actually wanted to do to our boss, and we didn't get to do that. I don't remember what happened, but we somehow it didn't happen. So she has this colleague from a different institution that she really doesn't get along with, and we were going to get one of those mugs. You know how there's that thermal mug, so when you pour hot water in it, it shows the
Oh,
picture slowly.
right. Oh my
So we
goodness,
were
I can
going
see.
to get one of those mugs with a picture of that person in there. So when every time she had coffee in it, she would see.
Trying to ruin her coffee moment.
So it's,
So,
just things like that. But it's always fun. I mean, kind of do
yeah.
things like that to each other.
So as you guys can see that there are just so many different ways. You can get so creative and, you know, have a lot of fun with it. I'm always for, have fun. Don't do the scary stuff or the mean stuff. But yeah.
Right.
So I thought I would just end this on a couple of, tips and tricks for a good April Fool's Day joke, something maybe not so elaborate or maybe, could be elaborate or not so elaborate depending on your time and commitment to this.
Good idea.
Yeah. So one I thought this is a pretty classic, booby trap a door. If you don't know what a booby trap is, it's it's some kind of a thing that if a person steps in, they get caught or something happens.
Or
And in
trip over
a
something
trip,
or
yeah. But in this case, you would connect something to the door so that when you opened it, there was a string that would get pulled and maybe a bunch of confetti would come down or something, you know?
Bucket of water.
Bucket of water. Yeah. If you really want to make a mess of
Flour.
things. Flour. Oh, yeah. See, here I was trying to be nice and she's all about put some flour and water.
I'm just taking it up a notch. Just a
Well,
little bit.
just don't take it up a notch like the movie Carrie style.
Yeah, no.
Never mind, guys. That was a crazy one. Okay. This one you already mentioned. Swap out some photos. Like what was it? Who was it that you said? Nicolas Cage.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a great one. Put photos everywhere of either someone that, the person really loves or that they really don't like just to be annoying. That's fun.
Yeah.
This one I've seen on a bunch of places. I tried it myself. It doesn't work. So I don't know if it's a specific kind of computer operating system you need. I don't know. But they say if you press Control Alt and the down arrow on a PC, your screen will flip upside down.
Oh.
Yeah. And then if you want to get it back, it's Control Alt and then up arrow. I tried it and I'm like, darn it, I really wanted it to work because how simple is that? So
I've seen people do that during Zoom meetings.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
They would flip their screen upside down.
That's funny.
It is.
Another one, make a fake social media post something that's a lie, but that could possibly be true. And everyone's like, oh my gosh, whoa, yeah. And then, Oh, and by the way, when you let them know that it's all a joke, then you usually say April Fools.
That's right.
To let them know that it wasn't true. Glitter bomb envelope. That's a good one. Send somebody something and they open it up and they open up the piece of paper and glitter goes flying everywhere.
Oh.
That's a gift that will keep on giving as they clean it up for months afterwards.
That's a messy one. Definitely a messy one.
And then the last one is kind of fun too. On your computer mouse, take a piece of paper and write gotcha, which means, aha, I fooled you, right? And tape it on the sensor on your mouse so that they're trying to use their mouse and it doesn't work. And then finally, when they turn it over and look at their mouse, they see the sign that says gotcha.
That's a classic one, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So, yeah, some are, very quick and easy, and some are a little more involved if you want to invest the time.
And you know what the best part is? You don't necessarily have to wait until April 1st to do these things.
Oh, yeah. If you're the kind of person that likes jokes, yeah, anytime.
Anytime is good.
So, yeah. All right. Well, I think that's all we have for April Fools and practical jokes. What do you think?
Sounds good. I think we've gone over some history, some personal experiences, and I love the tips.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It was a fun conversation. I like this.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a thing or two, some language. Oh, don't forget to check out the show notes. We'll have some information about some words or phrases that we use, a little more explanation. So hopefully that will help you learn some more vocabulary. All right. So until next time, here's to good vibes, good coffee, and great conversations.
Cheers.
Cheers.